Good morning. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Holyish Podcast. It's your host here, Jojo. Today is going to be a little different, a little special. I'm really excited. I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more about me. I felt like I needed to open up a little bit more. I felt like the first few episodes were great, but I want to bring you guys a little bit deeper into who I am and how I got to this space. So we're gonna talk today about how about me moving from Atlanta and what that transition was like for me. So I'm gonna do my best to be as vulnerable as possible and just let you guys into a little bit of insight about me and what's going on. And what makes this very special is my co-host. I know you guys can't see him, but he is here, always present. And you can say what's up.
Hey, what's up? Y'all know who it is.
He is actually going to be interviewing me. So he's prepared some questions just based off of the topic that he's going to ask me. And we're just going to flow out like that. So it's a special episode. I'm really excited, guys.
All right, boss lady, I got it from here. And I'm going to kick this off with so, Miss Jojo, what was the biggest reason that you decided to leave Atlanta? And how did you feel in those first few weeks or that month after the move?
The biggest reason that I left Atlanta.
You decided to leave Atlanta, the biggest reason.
I might upset some of my fellow ATLians with this, but I love y'all. I'm gonna be honest though. I feel like my biggest reason for leaving Atlanta for me was I was ready for a change of scenery. I was ready for something different. I had just got out of a pretty long relationship, and it was time for a change for me. Just the culture and the atmosphere in Atlanta was in that shifting period, and it was for me and who I was and who I was becoming. It wasn't fruitful soil for me anymore. It was just the Atlanta started to give this performance vibe that just wasn't true to who I was. And I didn't know how to, nor did I want to learn to coexist in that environment and in that world. Everything was very performative, in my opinion. And I was just over it, and I needed a change of scenery. I needed a clean slate. Um, I needed a safe place to heal, and Atlanta wasn't that for me anymore. And I had to go my where I could blossom, where I could grow. I had to put myself in an environment that was going to give me the nutrients that I needed to blossom into who I needed to be. So I think that was the biggest reason why I left. And I think the second part of that question was how was the first couple of weeks
Yes.
there? Um, so it was interesting because I literally packed up on Christmas Day of 2019 and moved. That was tough, but I was upset and I was mad and I might have been a little dramatic too, but I did that and it was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It was very necessary. I moved and the first couple of weeks there, honestly though, like that first night, I ended up having a great time. So shout out to Tish. I love you to pieces. I had met her one time before that when I had like kind of visited Greenville, but that night I had really met her like full on, and she took me out Christmas night and we had a great time. We vibed, and it's crazy because I ain't gonna shout out the place, but anyway, because you know it's up, like it's fun. We know where we went and what we did and what we had a good time. It was fun. It was a vibe. So that was like a dope introductory for me to Greenville. And from there, I just started navigating. So it was good. Like it wasn't bad. I think like the first couple of hours that I was there was kind of like sad and like, dang, like I had to leave on these terms. But like by 10, 11 o'clock that night, y'all, your girl was outside. She was
Hey,
having a good
you already
time.
forgot about it. You was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here now. I'm
Your
here.
girl was outside. I was
Okay,
having
okay.
fun.
So, when you first arrived in Greenville, what parts of your old self from Atlanta felt the strongest or most comforting to hold on to?
Hmm. Also from Atlanta, felt the strongest or most comfortable to hold on to. I would say that when I got to Greenville, I felt like I was a big fish in a small pond. It's a smaller town, city situation. Coming from Atlanta, I had already kind of been through the ropes. I had already experienced a lot of things that a lot of people in Greenville maybe have or haven't experienced, but just in a different capacity. So I came to Greenville. I was on a high horse. I was feeling good about everything. Like, remind me of the question, cause I'm about to go off topic.
No, you're good. I was just saying, when you first arrived in Greenville, what parts of your old self from Atlanta felt the strongest or most comforting for you to
To
hold
hold
on
on
to?
to. So I would say that I held on to just who I was at my core. I held on to my faith. I held on to um my core values, just showing up authentically myself, being able to walk into rooms and own those rooms. I showed up as just as Jordan, as Jojo. Like, um, honestly, I reinvented Jojo in Greenville, so I definitely showed up as Jordan. And it was all good. Like I was, like I said, a big fish, small pond. It was easy. I was navigating. I was moving through, and I was able to hold on to just everything that Atlanta taught me in a sense of, or not even that Atlanta taught me, but just that my family and my mom and my grandmother instilled in me. Um, be true to who you are. Like, no matter where you go, no matter where you are, God is always with you. He's always a part of it. So I kept my faith. That's something that was always, alongside me. So I think that's how I answer that.
Okay,
Held on to my faith.
okay, okay. Um, so, you privately mentioned to me having to unlearn a lot of things. What's one specific belief, habit, or way of thinking you picked up in Atlanta that you later realized wasn't really you?
Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with habit of those three to answer that.
Okay.
And when I was in Atlanta, y'all, I was a stoner. I used to smoke a lot of weed. Hopefully, I can say that on here.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, I smoked a lot of weed when I was in Atlanta, and when I got to Greenville, my desire for it changed. I didn't have a desire to do that anymore. I didn't like people, places, and things changed, and desires changed along with it. My heart posture changed along with it. It wasn't like I made a decision like I'm gonna stop doing this. It just kind of naturally happened because my environment shifted. So I didn't feel that same pull or need for it. Um, and then I kind of want to touch on the belief part of that too. Just the belief that I wasn't enough, the belief that I couldn't walk in rooms and be me and be accepted. That I had to release that, and it was the best thing I could have done because trying to compete in a environment that didn't suit me was doing more damage than it was good to my character and to who I was becoming. So when I got to Greenville and I was able to authentically be me, and I didn't have to feel any pressure to perform or to pretend, which I never really did it when I was in Atlanta, but I still felt the pressure of it. And that was just really uncomfortable for me. So once I got in a space where I didn't feel that pressure to be something that I wasn't, I was just able to just flourish from there. So
Okay. Okay. Um, can you walk us through a moment when you had that aha realization that something you thought you loved was actually just because of the people around you back home?
that aha moment. Hmm.
Yeah. When you had that realization that something you thought you loved when it was really just because of the people around you back home.
I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is probably like, but I don't know if that's, it's fine. Yeah. First thing that comes to my mind is like clubbing.
Okay.
Because the reason I kind of hesitated was just because I think that I started to realize that a little bit before I made the move that that wasn't for me. So I think that's why I hesitated a bit. But ultimately, I sat in that realization that like going to clubs and being on couches and turning up, it really wasn't my lane and it really wasn't what I wanted, or like it wasn't fun for me anymore. It really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't fun for me anymore, especially given the fact that like my house growing up was the party house. Like y'all I was partied out. Like I was partied out. I had done it and I was good. Like I was good on the club scenes. I was good on the popping bottles. Like I was just cool on that energy. I answered that question.
No, you did. You did. I get it. You basically you came, you saw, and you conquered.
Yeah, I did.
He was like, on to the next one.
Yeah.
Um, what was the hardest thing to let go of during this whole shedding process? And why do you think it was so tough?
The hardest thing to let go of during the shedding process. I want to answer this very truthfully, so I'm gonna sit and think for a little bit if that's okay with
No,
y'all.
that's fine. This is a safe space. Take your time, girl.
Um, the hardest thing to let go of. I think I want to say that the hardest thing for me to let go of was just me creating that distance between my family. Like we were really close knit. My siblings and I, my mother, the five of us, we are. First of all, word is crazy. We are really close knit, and that was a challenge for me because I had been away from them, but never in an adult capacity where I was like actually having to navigate life without them. And I was having to make grown up decisions on my own without them. And I think that like letting go of just that um connection is not the word I want to use by itself, but like that proximity. There we go. That proximity was difficult for me. And granted, it's not that far. It's like 2.5 hours. But granted, I was on the road every other week going back to Atlanta just because, I mean, that's where my mommy was and that's where home was. So I would say like shedding just the comfort of being in that environment with that I've always known, that was always maybe not necessarily comfortable, but that it was just all I knew. So, in a sense, comfortable. Um, Shedding that and knowing that it had to be done, knowing that I had to make a different move, I had to do something different. I was called to something greater, so I had to shift and I had to pivot. And that shedding that was, yeah, that was really tough for me at first. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Tell us about the moment you decided to stop relaxing or straightening your hair and go fully natural. What sparked that?
I love
And how did
this.
it feel the first time you saw your natural texture?
I love this so much because I don't remember like a specific moment where I was like, I'm not wearing weave anymore. I'm not doing this. I don't think it was more like a decision that I like just made out loud. I think first I didn't know any hairstylists in Greenville, so I wasn't really letting people just touch my hair. I had been going to the same stylist in Atlanta for years. Shout out to Tierra. Y'all follow Bash Bar. She is the best braider in Atlanta. Don't care what nobody says. Love you, girly. Um, yeah, so she had been braiding my hair for years, and for like the first year that I was there, I was traveling back and forth to get my hair braided. Like I was going to see her, and nothing changed about my routine with going to see her.
Yeah.
Like I was still there like clockwork. And then I got to an understanding that okay, like I'm curious about my natural curl pattern. I'm curious about what my curls look like. And that curiosity just sparked something in me. And I started buying natural hair products and I started spending money. Yeah, them natural products get expensive. Okay. They get expensive. But it was a journey for me. It was something that I wanted to embark on. It was something like I remember writing like sticky notes all over my wall. A couple of my friends in Greenville can attest to this. They came to my apartment there and they would see like sticky notes all over my wall where it's like I want to work on my mind, I want to work on my body, I want to work on my hair, like, and I would just have all of these things. I want to work on obedience, and I would just write these things down. So my hair became a journey for me, and I just began playing with it and learning my texture, learning what products worked, what didn't work. Oh, this may work for this person, but it makes my hair flaky, and just things like that. So I was having fun with my hair.
Okay.
I was embracing it, and I began to like look at myself and realize that like I don't need anything. Like I really love what I see, and I love who I am. I love the confidence that I exude with my natural hair, and it opened up something inside of me. It shifted something in the inner for me. It made me appreciate who I am and who I've always been, and I like that. I liked what that awakened in me, so I just kept doing it. And I kind of had toyed with the lock situation,
Uh huh.
and I was like, I want to lock my hair. I remember messaging one girl that I went to school with, and she's always had locks. And I was like telling her like I was thinking about it, and she was like giving me some advice on it, and I didn't know anything about it. And yeah, so it was pretty dope. And I literally woke up one day. Now I'm that type of person. Like I do that. Like I wake up and be like, I'm gonna do this. My friends can attest to that. They gonna hear that and like laugh and be like, yep, that's Jojo. Like she does that. Like people who know me, they know like I woke up and I was like, all right, today's the day I'm gonna lock my hair. And I did that. And it was the best thing I could have done. I love my locks. I love my natural hair. I love the confidence that it exudes, that, like I love it. So
Yeah, we love it too.
yeah, thank you.
Um, I had a couple of other hair questions, but you kind of answered them up for me, so I'm gonna
Sorry,
move
I
it. No,
didn't
you're
know.
good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Um, so once you started peeling away those layers that was influenced by others, what new interests or parts of your personality surprised you the most?
Once I started peeling back layers,
Yeah, once you started peeling away those layers that was influenced by others,
influenced by others, yeah,
what new
okay.
interests or parts of your personality surprised you the most?
Surprised me the most.
Hmm.
Hmm. I would say I was most surprised by um, I was most surprised by my ability to just honestly just choose. Um, hmm. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on.
No, you're good. Take your time. It's like Louis Vert. It's my
Yeah,
podcast. Now I do what I want.
I do what I want. I think I was most surprised by my ability to choose myself. And I say that meaning like, give me the question again, Danny, because I want
So once you started peeling away those layers influenced by
to.
others, what new interests or parts of your personality surprised you the most?
I was really like a calm individual.
Okay.
I used to think that I was this like because I've always felt like I had to like protect myself. I always felt like I had to like put myself out there to like ensure that like no one could hurt me or no one could like damage me. And I learned that I was actually a really calm individual. I was really a deep individual. I think I always been deep, but like it elevated,
Yeah.
and I started to learn levels of that depth, like how deep it really went. And it surprised me for sure. My writing surprised me for sure. I Because that was always been my way of expressing myself, but when I really got in tune with who I was and who I was becoming, my writing started to upscale, and the things that I would put on paper, and I started to tap into different powers and different I don't want to say powers like powers, but I started to tap into different levels of power that I had. There we go. And um, I got closer to God, and I was able to hear Him more clearly and understand the way He works and the way He operates, because I was in a place where I could actually hear Him. I was getting in a place where I could actually hear Him at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, were there any relationships, like, friendships, romantic, family, that changed or ended during this time because you were becoming more authentic with yourself?
Probably a few, honestly. I think one that just stands out to me is it definitely didn't end, but that changed a bit was me and my sister's relationship and our dynamic.
Okay. Hi, sister.
Um, yes, I love you to pieces. Shout out to my older sister. She's always been a light and a leading pathway for me. Um, our birthdays are super close, so I think that like growing up, we always associated our relationship with the things that we had in common and the similarities that we had. And I think when I started to embark on my own journey and I started to take my own path, it became difficult for us to navigate that because it was different for us. It was a different space for us to exist in, where she was used to me being her baby sister who kind of just followed her lead.
Mm-hmm.
And now I was doing something different, and it was like whoa, 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 this is unfamiliar territory for us. And we had to learn how to re-navigate our relationship and figure out how to re-communicate on things that we may not agree on or we may not see eye to eye on. So we went through a rough patch around that time, just because it was different. It was a different space for our relationship. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for all of the things that she's taught me. I'm grateful for the path that she paved for me. I wouldn't be the woman I am today without her and her guidance. In the same breath, we had to understand that it was only inevitable for me to grow and become my own woman. So we had to, navigate that change in our lives. So I think that was a big change in relationship for me.
Okay. Um, Looking back now, what do you think your Atlanta self was protecting you from or preparing you for in this new chapter?
That's dope. I think my Atlanta self was protecting me from, like, I don't know. I mentioned this to you, Danny, but I don't think I've like mentioned to everyone else that I mean I'm a middle child, so like I think growing up I always had felt like I had to, excuse me, I always felt like I had to be the loudest to be seen. I felt like I needed to make everybody see me and pay attention to me. I felt like I had to do the extra and and I was a kid, so it's fairly normal, but at the same time, like I think my younger self was just I subconsciously developed this coping mechanism and this protective barrier of you can't hurt me, or I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me, or I'm gonna put myself out there this way so you can't hurt me, or so you can't take advantage of me, or so you can't. And I felt like I needed to just protect myself, and that walked with me for a while. until I had to, well, not even me, I can't take credit for that, until God had to break down some barriers and he had to step in and let me know that, listen, you're no longer in survival mode and it's okay for you to live. It's okay for you to be okay. It's okay for you to exhale because you're not in that same situation where you have to prove anything to anybody, and you really never had to prove anything to anybody, but it's okay that you felt like that in that moment, but you're not there anymore. So I don't know if I fully answered that, but
No, you did. You did. Um, if you could go back and talk to yourself right after the move, what advice would you give that version of you going through the shedding process?
yeah, I would tell myself to trust everything. Not trust everything as in everybody, but trust everything that God is doing. Trust everything that God is setting up for you, because everything he does is strategic. Every encounter, everything that you go through, every up, every down, every battle, it's all for a purpose and it's for a greater purpose, and it serves who you're going to become. It all plays a part in who you're becoming in the long run. I think every encounter that I had in Greenville, South Carolina, set me up for who I am today. I didn't meet anybody by mistake. I didn't encounter anything by mistake. I didn't cry a tear by mistake. I didn't go through a phase or a hardship by mistake. It was all orchestrated to build me, to prune me, to shape me into the woman that I am today. And um, I would just tell that version of myself, have fun, enjoy it, don't take anything for granted. Every moment means something, every encounter means something, every person means something. And whether they're meant to stay in your life or they're meant to be there to teach you something, they're there for a reason. I made a lot of lifelong friends in Greenville, people that'll always, always, always be a part of my life. And I also met people that were a part of my life for that season. And I learned lessons. I learned about myself. I grew from those situations, those relationships, even though they were temporary. So I wouldn't be who I am today without those experiences as well. So I'm extremely grateful for that.
I love that. I love that. Um, how do you know when you're truly being yourself now versus slipping back into old patterns influenced by your environment or people?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty easy. My intuition is a lot clearer these days.
Okay.
My gut speaks to me a lot clearer versus before. I've learned. I would say that now I have something to compare it to versus when I was just moving without thinking, moving without listening to my intuition or knowing how to listen to my intuition versus me like actually trying it out and then like learning the difference between the two, or me being in a space where my spirit is calm and it's collected and it's elevated versus when I'm spiraling and I'm, like overthinking and I'm overreacting and things like that. So now that, like, I think before I didn't really have anything compared to. All I knew was that survival mode. All I knew was to protect. All I knew was to jump at. All I knew was to, and then I learned that like there's power in the softness. There's power in sitting back and letting things be and not trying to control everything. And once I was able to compare those two, it was a clear um, differentiation. Like it was a clear difference
Okay.
between the two. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, for listeners who might be in their own shedding season, maybe after like a big move, a breakup, or any life changes, what's one thing you wish someone had told you early on?
I think that kind of goes back to what I would have told my earlier self.
Hmm.
Don't take anything for granted. Don't take any small encounter for granted. Like everything God does, he works in strategy. He does things for a reason, for a purpose. And whatever he's doing in this season, whatever he's shedding off of you in this season, it's for a reason, it's for a purpose. Trust him and you cannot fail. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, literally trust him when he's telling you that person is not for you, when he's telling you to walk away from that thing, when he's telling you to move from that city. Listen to him, because he knows what's best and he knows what your heart is supposed to desire. He's going to give you the things that your heart should desire. We all have these things that we want, and we have this list of things that we pray and we ask God for. But the thing about it is, God knows what you need. You know what you want. So I would say trust him, trust his guidance, trust his lead, follow that. And when you feel a pull, I think I was talking a little bit earlier about this. Like, I feel like the Holy Spirit usually gives you a pull, and the other force gives you a push. Anything that feels rushed, that feels confusing, that feels out of whack, like I don't know if I should, but if I do this, and that confusion, that's not of God. God is going to speak in clarity. It's going to be final. It's going to be true. You're going to know in your spirit, in your gut, that it's time for you to make that move, whatever that is and whatever it looks like. So when you find that clarity, then you know that that's God speaking to you. When you get that pull, you know that's God speaking to you. When you feel pushed, you feel rushed, you feel sporadic, you take your time, you take you a deep breath, like this isn't that space. This isn't, I don't need to move in this type of space. Take your time. Take your time and listen to him. He will speak to you. But just be able to know the difference between him and another entity. Because we don't give that entity any power over here. So we don't even speak his name. But just know the difference between the two, and when it's in peace, when it's in clarity, when it's final, it's that's when you know it's in alignment.
Yeah.
Anything that's, that's what I would say to him.
And I would say on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Jojo. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Thank you. That was beautiful. Those were great.